Finally, a student at a far-left university, I mean, aren't they all, decides to turn the tables against the leftist, genderist establishment and even make some money in the process. Let's explore. Hello everyone and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Now, the third video I ever made on this channel was about Australians trolling the SJWs to the fullest extent. At that time, it was a politician who trolled the SJW's sensibilities with his highly detailed complaint form. This time, an Australian student decided to subject his university's purported beliefs to an actual practical politics test. And it was glorious. Coming from Heast, male Australian student pretended to identify as woman to win paid position at the college, friends say. Quote, an Australian man pretended to identify as a woman to win a paid executive position at the University of Sydney Students' Council. Alex Fitton vowed he was not a cisgendered male in order to become Joint General Secretary of the university's Representative Council, SRC. The school's affirmative action policy states that the coveted council position can be shared by two people, but only if one of them identifies as a woman or a non-cisgender male. The SRC's electoral officer, Pauline Graham, accepted Fitton's nomination but said he would need to sign a statement declaring, quote, for the public record for the rest of their life, end quote, regarding his gender identity. I have now been told that one of those two people will provide a statutory declaration to say that they do not identify as a man, Graham told students. She added, quote, that is something that your standing legal committee is going to have to deal with. But under the rules as they currently exist, if that person is willing to put that in writing for the public record for the rest of their life, then I will accept it and we will proceed. The chair of the council's standing legal committee, Cameron Kakamo, said Fitton was now in the process of proving his identity, but has thus far fallen short of the legal requirements. I have received confirmation that Mr. Fitton has attempted to notify the returning officer of their gender identity. It has been deemed insufficient, so Mr. Fitton has the rest of the day to fix that, he told the Sydney Morning Herald. Fitton and his running mate, Dylan William, were elected by a margin of only one vote, and if confirmed, each would pocket a $9,000 salary. Now, wait a minute, is that $9,000 per month or per year? Because if it is per month, it's good enough money to continue the charade for the rest of the academic year. I mean, I know I would. Anyway, let's read further. Quote, some people, however, were upset that a man appears to have decided to change his gender identity for the purpose of landing a paid position. A source familiar with Fitton told the newspaper that the move reflected a, quote, immature culture, close quote, and described the now woman as blokey. He ran for an affirmative action position by pretending to be a woman, the source said. He's incredibly blokey, plays AFL, they all call each other the boys, and it's got no basis at all, in fact. The newspaper also spoke with other people who know Fitton, and nobody could confirm his history of identifying as a non-cisgender male. Now come on, progressives, don't be sexists now. Listen and believe. I mean, so what if Fitton plays in the AFL? Are you now saying that people who identify as women can't play in the AFL? Really, progressives? Also, what's with all those gendered stereotypes there? Blokey? I mean, really? Is that supposed to be the latest insult from the arsenal of the cisgenderist, misogynistic, patriarchal establishment or something? I mean, what are you guys? Some sort of angry right-wing sexists? Now, in all seriousness though, I've been advocating for these kinds of things for over a year now. This is exactly how normal people should respond to institutionalized insanity. Turn the tables against them, mock them mercilessly, and make them live up to their own damn rules. They've been pulling these kinds of shenanigans on us, normal people, for over 50 years now. Maybe, just maybe, it's time for them to start getting a taste of their own medicine. I advocated the same thing last year when Norway made it legal for anyone to change their sex on their papers whenever they please, with no limits. I know I would flood their bureaucracy with such requests. I'd change my legal sex 3 times a week and bring another 200 friends to do the same. Let's see how much they can cope with it. Until you make them live up to their own rules, there is no way you can convincingly make the point that the rules themselves are insane. Now, this particular student, Mr. Fitton, did it particularly glorious because he's also being paid to troll, which is great. You should always aim to be compensated for your efforts. Now, volunteering is nice, but trolling the left is hard work, I'm telling you. Now, if I were him, I would file a harassment and gender violence report against the students who said that he is blokey for being severely harmed and emotionally harmed as well by the torrent of gendered stereotypes thrown in international press about me. And I hope Mr. Fitton watches this video because I'm being dead serious. For $9,000, it's a good deal to get a few leftists under investigation as well for hate speech. Just for the fun of it. Now this reminds me of the chap at, I think it was the University of Michigan, who defined his preferred pronoun as His Majesty. And now everyone is bound by the rules to refer to him by his preferred pronoun. Now come to think of it, Mr. Fitton should do the same. I mean, why not? Why can't a female-identified person have the preferred pronoun His Majesty? And if you disagree, you're a sexist, and sexism is bad, okay? In any event, very, very well done, Mr. Fitton. That's exactly how these weenies and their stupid rules should be dealt with. Make them live up to their own professed beliefs. You didn't make the rules, you just apply them. And once this kind of things becomes generalized, and I hope it does, then we can start having some sanity introduced back into the discourse. For starters, who was the genius who thought it's a great idea to have a rule that says that the coveted council position can be shared by 2 people, but only if one of them identifies as a woman or a non-cisgendered male? I mean, seriously, who in his right mind thinks like that? And the answer is nobody. Only mentally deranged people think like that. And that's why I always advise that when dealing with the left on the field, the purpose should always be to show to the neutral audience that the opposition is mental, rather than trying to convince the opposition out of their wrong ways. Anyway, thumbs up once again to Mr. Fitton. I hope he gets the job and continues to troll their rules into oblivion for the rest of this academic year. Make it glorious, sir. Please. Your colleagues who are normal and sane do rely on you. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on Freedom Alternative. Gosh, this was glorious.